Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. John Henry Soto here, as always, bringing you some of the latest news in Hollywood. So basically, just grab a cup of coffee, and we're going to catch you up on the latest industry happenings before your first meeting. So, first up, we're going to be looking at the box office numbers. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well out there. We are live right now, John Henry Soto show. And as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about some of the box office numbers. Now, audiences right now, they're waiting for that Avatar, James Cameron film to come out. We're going to be talking about Superman. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers. We're going to be talking about DC Comics. And of course, we're going to be talking about this whole idea that superhero fatigue is a thing. Is it a thing? Well, Superman has really proven that wrong. And we have another film, superhero film, coming out on Friday, which is Fantastic Four. So that's going to be really interesting. Now, audiences are waiting for Avatar 3 with James Cameron. Apparently, decided to squeeze out a little side project, directing a 3D Billie Eilish concert film. The master 3D cinematographer is capturing her 4-night Manchester run with Billie Eilish, Eilish, with Eilish teasing the announcement mid-show Saturday night. Cameron was reportedly in the venue scouting angles, and Eilish even warned fans should be wearing the same costume all 4 nights for continuity. Hope you all had a great weekend. So let's get started here. We're gonna be doing the box office numbers first, and Warner Brothers wins the weekend and the year so far. Actually, Warner Brothers is pretty doing pretty well this year, and Superman seems to be saving the day because as of last week, we were down from last year as far as gross income. So let's go over some of the numbers here. We're gonna go down to 10, and we're gonna start at 10. So at 10 is 28 years later is still on the top 10. That's pretty good. 3 point it went 1.3 domestic $1 million, and 68 domestic and 145 globally. Lilo and Stitch is still on the top 10. It's in week number 9, 1.5 million domestic, 418 domestic total, and $1 billion globally. Now, Lilo and Stitch, as you already know, it's not a new thing. It's been around, and now they made this film. And do you think there'll be a sequel? If this one made $1 billion, I guarantee you that there'll be another live action remake coming in the next year or so. Number 8, we have ILO, which is 2 million domestic weekend, 68 million domestic total, and 152 global. Eddington opening it opened new at number 7. So it's a Western starring Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal. Splits audiences with a C plus cinema score. Still, it's performing better than the director's previous Phoenix collaboration, Beau is Afraid. So that's an opening night, opening at number 7. Number 6, we have How to Train Your Dragon, which is in week number 6, 5.35 domestic weekend. That's down 32%, and $250 million domestic and 285 globally. At number 5, F1 with Brad Pitt is hanging strong. It's in its 4th week with a 9.6 million domestic weekend. That's down 26%, and $153 million domestic total. Globally, $460 million globally. So that's continue to do well. Now we have a new opening film here, The Smurfs. The Smurfs opened at number 4 with $11 million domestic, $36 million global, and Paramount's Rival, featuring Rihanna, couldn't recapture the magic of the 2011's original, which had a $35 million opening. The Smurfs franchise, I don't know why they keep doing these. From 2011, which it did pretty well. Uh, a franchise low B plus cinema score suggests audiences aren't feeling very Smurfy about this one. So number three, I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's a new film opening up this past weekend. $13 million domestic, $24 million globally. Despite bringing back Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., this marks the lowest opening in the franchise's history. I think people are kind of tired of that franchise, unfortunately, because Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. are always good in whatever they do. Number two, Jurassic World Rebirth. It's a week number three. 23.4 domestic weekend. That's down 42%. $276 million domestic globally and $647 million globally. It celebrates crossing its 600 million worldwide with the best third week hold in the franchise's history. So that's pretty good. And drum roll, I think we all know what's number one. Number one this weekend was Superman. Superman on its second week now. Um, it's at $57 million domestic and $237 million domestic total and $407 million globally. So James Gunn's reboot is showing serious staying power with a significantly better hold than Man of Steel in 2013. Its domestic heavy split between 235 million versus 171 internationally may cap its global ceiling compared to the previous DC hits. So there you have it. Superman is Superman is a franchise that really, it's a wonderful story, right? Unless they change, I haven't seen this one yet, but I've heard, I've read a lot about it, and I have friends on both sides of it. One friend, I was surprised, said that it went a little bit into wokeness, not too much, but it kind of was showing some kind of wokeness thing. Very interesting. Because then my other friend, who's completely anti woke and hates woke stuff, said he loved it. He said it was a great film. He said they did an amazing job. It had everything that he loved. So I was like, wow, that's really interesting. So I'm gonna check it out and see exactly what the deal is with it. But very, very interesting. Now, Superman has been around for a very, very, very long time. The franchise started back in the 40s, believe it or not. We had George Reeves was one of the first television Supermen, and his Superman was interesting. I always loved it growing up as a kid. Of course, I didn't. I was no, I'm not that old, but on the reruns that we watched, watching Superman was always great, and he was all over the place. And George Reeves was really great. And then of course Christopher Reeves, which I still think is the best Superman of all time. Really elevated the franchise. They had new technology back then. This was this is one of the reasons why I think a lot of these superhero films need to really work on story, because that genre really focuses a lot on special effects and fighting and a lot of blowing up of whatever city they're in, right? And the story sometimes is pretty simple. Bad guy, get the bad guy. Bad guy wants to take over the world. He has a device and he's going to blow up the world, and the heroes have to kind of save it. Well, if they get a little bit more involved with their storylines, maybe they have a better chance of actually a little bit more longevity on that, because the technology, everyone has access to it now, and we as consumers have been sort of spoiled into watching these films because we can see now everything is CGI, and we understand, whoa, that's cool, but we've been desensitized to the actual work of it. So it's not as special as it was before. It's not as wild. Now, when we're watching Superman, in 1979 or 78 or 79. That was a revelation. Just seeing him smoothly take off and fly from the balcony after he was talking to Lois Lane and wave, and then him grabbing the cat off the tree and coming down. It was so smooth that we were like, how do they do that? As kids. And it was just an amazing, it was just, they had groundbreaking technology back then, and it really surprised everyone. And I think today it's harder and harder to surprise people. And now that AI is here, what can you possibly do that's going to surprise audiences? I mean, the thing about the Tom Cruise films is that the thing that surprises or shocks everybody or scares everybody is that he's actually doing the stunt. He's hanging off of planes, he's off of cliffs, he's jumping off with a motorcycle. He's really doing these things, and there's no CGI, and there's nothing except the camera rolling while he's doing it. So there's a lot of technology with cameras because they're putting the cameras in places that we really can't put the camera in front of the character because the character is doing the stunt. So generally, you get a wide and you see the stunt happening, and it's usually a stunt man doing it, and it's a wide or it's somewhat. But with Tom Cruise films, they have technology where they have the cameras close up. One thing that I heard was when he was on the plane on the last Final Reckoning, um, when he's hanging on the plane, he has to also control the cameras. So he's controlling focus and he's controlling, panning in and out with the cameras as he's doing the stunts, and he's holding on, and then he has to adjust the camera because he's the only one up there. There's nobody else to run the camera because nobody else, no cameraman is going to be crazy enough to get up there with him. So there is a tremendous amount of skill set and focus and rehearsals and that takes a little bit more it's a little bit more interesting for audiences to see these kinds of things, and they want to see what crazy thing is going to happen next. With CGI and with the Marvel films, it's really not that. We can always tell they're in costumes, obviously the actors, but I really don't think that there's not that much that doesn't use CGI. CGI is a big part of that franchise, as well as the most of the the effects for the whole franchise. That's what they operate on. But Superman has proven a point. Maybe people are not tired, and I was really hoping that Superman did well. I was hoping of two things: that it didn't go completely woke, and that they just ruined it like they've ruined everything else with the DEI stuff and all that. And two, that I hope that they have a good story, and that's it. Those two things. I wanted those two things. If they can do those two things, even if the film doesn't, even if there was fatigue, but people say it was still a good Superman film, but it didn't do well. Um, I was really hoping that happened, and now it seems like it's doing well. It's financially doing well, and I have some friends that really loved it, and it's really exciting to see that. So I'm happy for everyone out there with the Superman franchise. Um, James Gunn, just making it happen again. Really, really exciting stuff. So now, are we done with this? Is the franchise is Superman and Fantastic Four, which is coming out on Friday. Let's see how that does. If that does really, really well too, well, the franchise, that myth that people are tired of the genre goes away, right? I mean, it goes away. When you have two films, if it matches Superman, Fantastic Four, and it's supposed to be really fantastic. If it matches Superman, well, now we're talking about $1 billion worth of two films making about $1 billion. So I think it's not over, but we will see. Now, of course, Kevin, uh, Feige, Feige, I think, or Feige, calls BS on superhero fatigue. Now he says he's the guy, Marvel Studios president. He's saying that it's not. He's not buying it. So he says he isn't buying the superhero fatigue narrative that's been swirling around Hollywood. Just look at DC's Superman hitting $407 million globally. He says it's clearly not superhero fatigue. I'm sure that he's sitting back waiting for Superman to come out. Now he knows that they've been promoting this film for about a year. This film has been I mean, I saw promos from this back in like November of last year, maybe even sooner than that. I know they were talking about it a year ago because that's how long it takes to put these things together. But just an incredible idea that I'm sure he was sitting back waiting to see how it does so he can come up and say this line because and then put it out there that no, it's not over. He had a really candid interview ahead of Fantastic Four release this weekend. He admits that Marvel created its own problems by flooding the market with content, but he's got a game plan to fix it. Supply, not demand, was the problem. Marvel produced 50 hours of content from 2008 to 2019. After 2019, Avengers Endgame, that jumped to 127 hours in 6 years. For the first time ever, quantity trumped quality, he admits. Quality and standalone focus. Marvel's focus on better self-contained stories that newcomers can jump into without watching previous films or shows. The goal: eliminate the homework feeling that hurts films like Thunderbolts, which globally did 382 globally, where nobody knew that title and many characters were from the shows. Budget engineering. Marvel's slashed budgets by roughly a third from 2002 to 2023 levels. Marvel studied Garth Edwards, the creator, which looked like a $200 million blockbuster, but only cost $80 million. And his team met with Edwards' crew to learn efficiency tactics. I think this is going to be more of a popular thing moving into the future here because now there's so many there's a lot of productions happening, people. By the way, if you're an actor or a filmmaker, really hang in there, really get in, learn about what's happening because there is a lot of work coming. There's a lot of studios opening up. There's a lot of productions being done. The industry is alive. It's doing well. I know Hollywood is going through a little struggles right now, but nobody wants Hollywood to fail. Hollywood needs to succeed. It needs to do well. It needs to be able to continue its legacy because that's where some of the greatest films ever made were made in Hollywood. So we want to continue that legacy and we want it to do well. Now I think they've learned their lesson about which direction to go in and what story to tell and trying to push narratives that just didn't work. And it was on and on and on of content failing. I think they've kind of learned their lesson. You know what? Why don't we start telling stories again? Why don't we just start focusing on storytelling as opposed to just pushing this one some narrative that nobody really cares about, a small majority care about, as the numbers showed. So the budget part, I think what's going to end up happening is that you're going to have efficiency managers on film sets. And I think they're already there because they're called budget, people who do the budget, right? But there's going to be a little bit more of an efficiency focus. So craft services, cost whatever $1 million. We're going to try to get that down to 600,000. This costs 10 million. We're going to try to get that down. The actors, unfortunately, some of the actors are making less money now because there's more productions. There's cheaper ways of doing things. But so a lot of the staying power, there's not many actors. There's the Brad Pitts, there's the Tom Cruises, and there's the James Gunn. Anything that he puts his hands on, Marvel, they have money, they have a lot of pull. So when they come out with a thing, they know that people are going to go watch it because they know they're going to be able to put it into all the theaters. Tom Cruise, who's the one that started the international tours, going to different countries to promote the film, that was him and his team started that in with Mission Impossible originally, the first one, and it just kept going, and now everyone has to do that. You have to go out and promote your film worldwide if you have a really really big film, especially like one of those Mission Impossible films. So, but efficiency is going to be really the future of filmmaking, with AI now being able to take a lot of the bulk. A lot of the AI, programmers or prompters, I should say, um, are the most money that goes into it is the systems, because it costs a lot of money to run these big massive computers that can really generate, and that can render these prompts at such a high speed and high level, because they look really 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 great. So you use can't use a Mac. You need PC power, and you need a lot of different components to run the whole thing, for the AI stuff. So AI is coming into all these genres. I guarantee you that it is, in and it will make things, in the beginning. It's going to be expensive because they got to invest into all these technologies, but in the long run, it's going to be a lot cheaper to put the projects out there. But there's a lot of projects happening right now, and they still need humans. By the way, we have this whole thing with EI, with VO3 coming out from Google, and we see all that technology, and we're kind of like, well, there they are, actors. You can make them look exactly the way you want. You can tweak this, tweak that, make them say whatever you want, and now you have an actors. But they haven't been able to capture humanity, the human spirit, and they never will, because it's just not the technology that can do that. It's fun. I've seen a lot of the videos. There's some funny videos that they make. They're very cute videos, but they're the subtleties of humanity, the glances, the eyes, the intensity is not there. They don't have that because the computer can't learn intensity. It can type in "be intent" and it's going to be like, it's not. It doesn't understand to just give a look. Like how would you prompt Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs when he's standing there? He's gonna be like this. The prompt's gonna be like, because it's gonna say "be menacing," standing. It's gonna be. It's not gonna understand that Anthony Hopkins is just standing there. Hello, Clarice. It's just not gonna be the same intensity. It doesn't have that skill yet. Will it get it at some point? Maybe in a couple hundred years, maybe it may have enough content in it, because remember, it's drawing from what's already in there, and it's gonna. Right now, it's just really bad actors, and so AI humans are not going to be a thing. We're not going to see human, AIs becoming great actors and stuff like that. There'll be fake stuff. There's a fake band right now that's on Spotify. Spotify, by the way, shame on you for allowing that and somebody to profit. And YouTube, very very well done on not allowing AI videos to be monetized, because they're not real human, and somebody is making money not doing any kind of work at all and just prompting on computers. So YouTube, thank you very much for doing that, keeping the integrity. Spotify, come on, guys. You guys have enough money. There's enough talent on there, and then use it. You say, hey, we don't use any AI. Get your songs in here, and more people will be more excited, and you make more money in the long run. Stop it. But anyway, going back to budget. So budgeting is going to be a major thing in the future. And like I mentioned, AI technology is getting better to help some of the scenery, some of the with the editing process. The audio probably is going to be enhanced with AI, and maybe some of the cleanup of the actual images will be there as well. But the humans are needed. So humans are still needed. So, but that's going to be the thing. The efficiency is going to be a major, major thing. Production location shifts. The next Avengers films are shooting at London's Pinewood studio. Again, one of the problems that Hollywood is having is keeping them around. A decision made years ago when stage space was scarce during the streaming boom. He says future projects will likely target Georgia, New York for competitive incentives, but probably not California, despite the state's new $750 million tax credit. That's not enough money. It's not enough money from what they did. They tanked the industry, and now they're giving $750 million. That's not enough. Some states have a billion. And they've actually been respecting the filmmakers. New York has a very, very great film incentives. New York, Georgia, 100%. Even Tennessee has a good one. And it's getting better and better because we're so close to Georgia. I just went to Atlanta over the weekend. I went down there. It was like a 4-hour drive. I drove back that same day. It's doable. It's a long drive, but still, it's a very doable, especially if you're in this industry. You make the drive. So there's a lot of other opportunities out there, and so the production location shifts that Marvel is doing, it's very interesting, and that's going to be interesting to look at in the next couple of years what they do. But let's look ahead at Marvel for a second. So Marvel is capping films at 2 to 3 annually, some years just one, while slashing TV to a single action live action show per year. This weekend's Fantastic Four will be another test for Marvel's standalone storyline and quality over quantity theory. Early reviews are calling it one of the best things Marvel has ever made, setting up a crucial demand test, especially after DC's Superman proved audiences are still hungry for superhero content. I think they are, but I think they are for good content, for good content. I think that's the key thing is it has to tell a wonderful story, and it has, the technology is going to be there, right? I mean, we've already been spoiled. If the special effects aren't there, we're gonna have a problem. It's gotta be there. It's gotta be good. It's gotta be sharp. It's gotta look fantastic. We have to have no question on like, oh, I know how they did. No, that's not. We don't care about that. The story, it's gotta get us there. That's the key thing. So, all right. Friends, thank you very much. Congratulations to everyone at the Superman team. Doing really well, keeping the genre alive. I'm looking forward to Friday's Fantastic Four, so stay tuned for that. I will be talking about that next week after the weekend on Monday, talking about how the Fantastic Four did. So let's stay connected. If you have any questions or anything, you could always message me on whatever platform you're watching this right now. You could also email me at john@jhstalentmanagement.com, and I'd be more than happy to help answer any questions that you have, take any advice that you have, whether it's good or bad. I don't care. I want to hear from y'all, and I appreciate you all very much. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day out there. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. God bless. And as always, peace.